from the shore.
You take the 412 and we'll back you up on the second machine.
Yes, it's like a cyclone up here.
This is the most amazing sight I think I've ever seen. It really is. They're just metres away from the shoreline.
What's happened, Nathan? Mate, we've got a ship aground at Robbins Beach. Supposedly props stuck on Big Ben, which is a reef just outside the beach area. There's sailors on board, high winds and big waves, big seas.
All we know is that there's a ship's run aground supposedly on knobbies. So we're going out there to have a look.
She's running aground at the back of Nobby's Reef. She's coming right in at Nobby's. She's been pushed right in. I'd say she's coming right on the beach.
I've been speaking to the captain of the vessel and the captain has requested evacuation.
Helicopters Angel 1 and Angel 2 are inbound for an incident of mammoth proportions. Words alone can't describe what the pilots and crew are about to encounter.
The captain has put out a distress call to evacuate the ship's company. WESTPAC 1 is proceeding to Harbourside Park with WESTPAC 2 will be briefing at the Emergency Operations Centre and will advise. WESTPAC 1.
When we were walking from the helicopters over to the Emergency Operations Centre, just to be able to walk in those conditions in the rain, you were nearly at 45 degrees into the wind to try and walk with the sand and all that sort of stuff, so I can only just imagine what it was going to be like on the deck of that ship with grease and oil and the sea spray and the wind and not being able to see. So on terra firma it was hard, so let alone on a ship that was still moving a bit with oil and grease and everything, in those sorts of conditions would have been extremely difficult.
Oh, it's horrendous. Like the wind's blowing down. Just trying to stay steady is, hard work.
And we discussed the options and we had a big round table with all the emergency services and the lifeguards. The initial thought was that a large seagoing tug was going to leave the port of Newcastle, put a tow rope on it and tow it out to sea, but the harbour master said that 17.9 metre waves at the harbour entrance, nothing was going to leave the port of Newcastle, so the plans were fairly well dashed then.
I can't tell you if the vessel's going to break in half. Obviously I don't have any engineering background. It is a contingency that we are planning for.
The ship requested for a second time the evacuation of the ship's company. It was basically up to us, and we certainly didn't promise anything. We certainly said that we would have a look at it. We'd been watching the ship, watching the waves on the ship, with the waves hitting the stern of the ship and rolling down the front. So we thought we might be able to give it a shot and see how the conditions were, but we certainly weren't going to promise anything.
A little bit nervous, but I wouldn't say I was jumping out of my skin. I was just more concentrating on what I had to do.
Northern Operations, WESTPAC 1, go ahead. WESTPAC 1 in company with WESTPAC 2 conduct hoist operations for the ship's crew. WESTPAC 1, copy, please.
Cable's running out now, hooking up rescue crewmen.
Coming up, we'll just go over, we'll just follow taxi over to the ship.
We looked at the options, landing. There was so much spray coming over the side of the boat that I felt that was dangerous. I'd lose visual contact with the vessel, and also we'd be ingesting a lot of salt water into the engines. And we just felt that it was safer to winch the crew off.
And rail rescue crewmen are hooked up.
Okay. I think somewhere around middle of the ship.
not moving any more than the front anyway. Yeah. Okay, we're all set in the back and you're clear to move forward 50 and call loose inside.
Okay, leaving up.
Roger. Carla mains all clear on the right. And forward 50. Forward 40. Forward 20. Forward 10. Forward 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you can come down 15 if you wish. Yep. 15 if you wish. Come down 10. Down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold. And come forward 5.
We could probably land on this.
Yeah, I would not be surprised, but there's a lot of rush. You know, if it comes over, we'll go this far, Oz. I've been watching it.
8 o'clock. Okay.
Ozzy and I actually discussed landing on the ship at one stage, but we chose not to, for obvious reasons.
No worries, mate.
Right near your rescue crewman out.
Traffic. Traffic.
Drifting left.
Obviously concentrating on the job at hand and doing it safely, knowing that it was quite a risky sort of operation because of all the wind and the rain and the hail and the salt spray, just everything sort of conspiring against us to get the job done safe.
Okay, there you go. Clear to hoist.
Clear to hoist.
When we're stationed overhead the winch sight, the pilot can't see directly underneath him, so I'm giving him directions where he should be and where he should go if he drifts off, and I'm his eyes underneath the aircraft.
Okay.
Just come right through. Right one, halfway down. Yeah, they're actually getting covered in spray halfway down. 10 from the ground. Approaching the deck. On the deck now. And bringing up the empty cable. Clear the winch.
Clear the winch.
Well, it was quite strenuous. There was a lot of wind, like it was extreme wind. We were indicating something like 55, 60 knots airspeed just in the hover.
Traffic. Traffic. Traffic.
Guys are moving clear from underneath.
When Glenn and I were first hoisted on board the ship, we made our way to the bridge, went through a couple of inches of oil, which straight away got all over us. The ship was already slippery and just made it even worse.
Cable stowed, clear to move on.
The salt spray was probably the main thing, you know, the waves hitting the side of the ship, the spray's just coming over the deck and just covering us, not only with salt spray, but there was oil in the water as well, so yeah, we're getting sort of covered with that. And just the wind was just unbelievable, like standing on the deck, like, because of the salt spray made the deck really slippery, and so you had to be very careful when you were virtually leaning into the wind, keep yourself upright.
Westpac 1's just waiting for the rescue crewmen to organise the crew, and then we'll be back in to commence the evacuation.
While I was proceeding up to the bridge was the only time I felt a little bit threatened with the whole job. As soon as I opened up the door, all the ship's captain and all his crew were standing up in the bridge, and you could just see the look in their eyes. All they wanted to do was get off that ship.
We're going to lift about 6 off first, and then the BK will come over and grab another few, and we'll just keep on rotating. How many you got to get off? 22.
Kept everyone inside for safety, and we brought out 6 at a time, so we could put 3 up on the pad and 3 down below on the deck, and just bring them up like one at a time.
There is a massive spray that breaks over the stern and goes all the way down to the bow.
Yeah. But just watching it and particularly seeing some of those waves were still putting a lot of water over the side of the ship, and the deck was covered in oil as well, and it was really hard for people to walk on the deck. You know, our rescue crew and also the crew of the ship found it quite difficult in that wind to walk on the deck.
Oh, those waves are bloody huge.
Crew wanted to get off that ship. Their eyes were bulging the whole way up, even until we hit land, until we hoisted them up and hit land. They just started calming down then, but while ever they were on that ship, they just wanted to get off, and you could tell that straight away.
All right, doors open. Okay. Okay, clear across right and forward. Call losing side. Have a thumbs up.